Hello, everyone. Hi. I see some people in the chat already asking questions. So they'll be the first to be answered. I hope you can hear me, and I hope you can see me. Okay, let's see. All right. Let's wait a few seconds so people can come in. Yeah, I see people appearing. Hello. Hi, everyone. Is it earlier? What time did I give? Uh-oh, did I give the wrong time? Could be. I have completely lost track of time being at home all day for the past 3 weeks. So let's see. Did I give a different time? Oh, well. Hello, everyone. Can't wait for the gossip. There's not much gossip going on right now that I know of. But yeah, so hi, everybody. This is going to be an interesting one. As you probably know, if you follow me on Twitter or if you follow the news at this point, I and pretty much the rest of my country have been quarantined. So I have been stuck home for the past 2 weeks, 2 weeks and a half. This is the beginning of the third week of quarantine, pretty much. And it's getting stricter and stricter, as it should do, because the situation is sadly not improving at all. It's actually getting worse. We'll get into it if you're curious about it. I've seen some questions in the chat already asking about the situation in Italy, and I will definitely get into it more if you're curious about it. Let me just say it's not a pleasant situation at all. It's very, very worrying, and it's a scary place to be in right now. And it's a big effort that everyone here has to do, and I think that finally people are starting to realize the magnitude of the situation, and they're starting to, stay home, like lock themselves in and just not go out, because we don't want to infect any more people. The situation is already escalating quite quickly. So yes, I can buy food and stuff. I can leave the house unless you've been tested for coronavirus and you've come out as positive. You can leave the house, but you can only leave for strict necessities. So yeah, buying food pretty much. Or if your workplace still hasn't shut, for example, you work in a hospital, something like that, obviously you can leave the house. But other than that, it's discouraged to do so, and certain regions have been locked, so you can't leave them unless it's an emergency, pretty much, in the north. So that's the situation right now. It's sadly not slowing down so far, and hospitals are really, really overwhelmed. We have a really good healthcare system, especially in the north of Italy. They're really on top of things, but despite that, they really are. They're getting to the point of having to make terrible decisions on, who to give their ventilators to and the respirators to. So it is a very difficult situation. Obviously, not so much for me in particular, but there's so many vulnerable people out there. Elders are vulnerable, immunocompromised people who already have respiratory problems. There's a variety of people who are vulnerable to this, and we don't want them to all get sick at the same time. We don't want them to get sick, period, but especially not at the same time, because that can really, really put a strain on, hospitals and, stop, like they have, like in Lombardy, they had to actually call back some doctors from retirement because, the personnel was so overwhelmed, despite it being a really good healthcare system, especially in that region. So this is what's been going on here for the past 2 weeks. As you know, probably, well, maybe, I am a teacher, so obviously I haven't been able to go to work for the past 2 weeks. And this week also I won't be going to work, and hopefully I will go back, but probably won't be able to go to work for the entire month of March, which is really sad for me. I'm really missing my students. We're doing virtual classroom lessons, and I'm uploading, material and videos. We do live streams for them, but it's not the same thing as having, your students in front of you in your class. And yeah, it's weird. It feels like it's not normal life. Just today, I had to go out to buy some groceries, and the street was completely empty. The few people who were out there were just like walking in silence, fast walking. It was really, really strange, a really strange experience. It's a really weird situation, honestly, and it is quite scary. I know I've been rambling about this for 6 minutes. I'm sorry about that. It's not what you came here for. But I have been shut home for like days, so I am a little bit bored. I haven't gotten that much human interaction apart from like text. So no, the supermarkets are fine. People raided them in a panic, but they're already back to having food and everything, so that's not a problem, thankfully. All right, so I will start with the figure skating related questions. But if you guys are curious about the Corona situation in Italy, I will definitely go back to that towards the end of the video, if this is something you're interested in. So the first questions I've been asked were, what are my thoughts about Junior Ladies World Championship? So the ladies competition at Junior Worlds has been the competition that I've watched the most. It's weird because I have had more time than usual to watch competitions, but I just felt so like out of it that I kind of like didn't dedicate as much time to it as I normally would. But the ladies competition, I've watched pretty much all of it, at least the last few groups. It was so long, it was like 50 girls. I thought it was good. Obviously, I thought the level, especially the top 10, around the top 10 was really, really good. And I expected Valieva to win for sure. I didn't think that Usachova would beat Valieva, and I don't know, I'm 50-50 on that. I think both of them had like some visible mistakes though, so hard to tell. It wasn't a big margin, but overall, I enjoyed the competition. I do think that for me, watching juniors is not as fun as watching seniors because for as good as they are, and they're really good, there's definitely a big difference in presentation for me. I liked Kindly the most presentation-wise, and I think her programs were also probably the best choreographed programs there. I thought she was really entertaining. Such a shame for that mistake at the end of her free skate. She was wonderful, truly. I really enjoyed watching her. She was definitely my highlight of the ladies' competition. I thought Valieva, obviously, she's a phenomenal talent. She has like all of the goods that you need. I do think that both of her choreographies are atrocious. I find them truly bad. Like, I think both Usachova and Kromik got better choreographies than Valieva. Don't know why, but Valieva's choreography is like literally leg kicks, frantic leg kicking the entire time with like very slow paced music, which makes it so weird to watch. So she's obviously like super talented, but I think that having such bad choreography is actually hindering her abilities a little bit. So there's that. As for how she will develop, as always, it's like a huge question mark, as with any junior, especially those under Eteri, I would say. And yeah, I liked Alisa Liu's free program. I thought she was really good. Obviously, there's a bunch of stuff to fix there as well. Some technical things for sure. That quad loss needs to be like crapped, but I enjoyed her. I enjoyed Usachova as well. I think presentation wise, she's quite good. Although I don't really love the music choices, but I do think so far we haven't really seen her personality that far. So I definitely think I actually enjoyed the two Korean girls the most, probably. And I was really sad about the Japanese ladies. I think something wrong's happening with JSF, both in junior and senior ladies, because they went from like a complete like 2 seasons of like pretty much being only second to Russia and like being a true challenge to not very good results if we take out Rika Kihira. Um, so yeah, it's weird. I think they're just mismanaging them completely. I don't even know what would need to be changed because obviously they have really good basics, really good jumps, but something's not working with the management, I think. So yeah, that's kind of it for the junior ladies if you want like a very short recap. What do you think about coronavirus? And do you think publicity is way too much out of proportion and too many people are scared? No, I actually think the opposite. I think what happened in Italy in particular, that's all I can say, is that at first everyone was like, don't panic, this is the flu, like you should not panic, just like the two people who have it will be isolated and just don't go near them and we'll be fine. And nobody took it that seriously, and the two cases were isolated, and then 10 days later we have almost 8,000 cases and almost 400 deaths as far as I know, as far as like this morning at least. So no, I don't think it's blown out of proportion. I think actually people who keep saying, it's just a flu don't really realize the scale. I didn't eat like I was obviously worried about it when news came from China and everything, but I genuinely did not grasp the magnitude of this virus when it hits, for example, a country like Italy with so many elders. It's such a danger on the healthcare system. So I don't think it's being blown out of proportion. I actually think it should, like, people should be warned more because so many people are not taking it seriously enough. They're still going around. They're like, oh, whatever, it's not going to affect me because I'm young. And they don't realize that even if they are young and don't catch it or they don't get symptoms, they could be affecting so many other people, spreading the virus around. So no, I don't think that. Junior ladies long program. Judges seem to be stricter in the flipped edge, but let those flat lutzes away. I think, the judging is very inconsistent in general. So depending on the panel that you're going to get, you're just going to get very different judging situations. And sometimes they call lutzes, sometimes they call flips, sometimes they call both, which is pretty much never. And very often they don't call either, or they only call it for some skaters. I think that's not just like the junior ladies free skate, it's just the situation in general when it comes to judging is just a bit, well. Have you seen Shomas free at the Challenge Cup? And do you think he's got a chance, even a slither of a chance, to be first at Worlds if held? I saw the free skate. I thought he was very good. I do think that he was repaid a bit too much in GOE because some of his jumps are pretty iffy, if you ask me. Although I do love Shoma, I do think that he gets repaid a bit too much with GOE in particular. I think his components should be good. He's very musical. He's very into it. He has good skating skills. But yeah, he doesn't really have many transitions that I would say is like the main components flaw for him. But yeah, no, winning Worlds, I think would be really difficult. Obviously, nothing's impossible, but I would say it's very, very unlikely. A medal for sure is possible. Hi, friend. I hope you're safe and healthy in Italy. Thank you. I'm trying to be safe as possible, not leaving the house. And so far, I'm also in good health. Do you think Hein Lee should stay in juniors one more year or switch to seniors? Like I was saying before, I love Hein Lee. I think she could definitely switch to seniors next season. Korea is building a really strong field. I'm very happy about that. I like the way that they seem to be training their ladies. They all seem to have different um, styles in a way. Not so much in juniors, but definitely in seniors. I think Heinle could definitely become one of Korea's top senior ladies. I would say Young Yu would be like number one considering what she's shown this year, and then it would be between Hein, Yilim, and Hansu, and I think definitely Heinle could switch and do well next season for sure. Um, since the coronavirus started and arrived in America, at what time would you have considered adequate announced world's cancellation? I think it should be around now. I don't think they should wait longer. Obviously I guess they're trying to see how the situation develops. If I can give my 2 cents, obviously I'm not like an expert of any kind, but seeing how fast things went south in Italy, we went from having like 2 cases one day and like 2 weeks later it's 8,000 cases, with the schools closed, with no public in stadiums and stuff like that. I would say if they really don't want to cancel, which I think they should definitely consider, or maybe postpone, I don't know. If they don't want to do that, I would say that they definitely at least need to do it without audience, which is really sad for those who bought tickets. I read that they don't want to do any refunds, which is pretty crap, but I think it should be held without an audience. They're not planning on screening audiences. They're not planning on taking audiences' temperatures. And it's going to be thousands of people there coming from literally everywhere in the world. That's not something you want to happen in this time, even if people self-quarantine, even if people don't go, you never know who is irresponsible enough to come from a country like Italy could be now. I guess now we can't really fly around anyways, but and you never know what's going to happen. I think the wisest thing would be having it without an audience, which is sad, but at least it wouldn't endanger people. It wouldn't endanger Canada. It wouldn't endanger the athletes themselves. So that would be my call. What would you advise to Soyoung Wee to improve so that she can become Korea's top lady? I think Soyoung is very good for her age. She's very, very young. I think definitely some work needs to be done on her components, especially she's not very she's very graceful, but she's very expressionless and she's a bit robotic so far. I think definitely work on that. Some work could be done on edges for sure and skating skills. I think the base is a very good base. So either move to, I don't know who she's being coached by right now, actually, but either move her to, one of the top coaches, either in Korea or out of Korea. I don't know who coaches her now. Or, just pay more attention to the presentation side. She's very young, though, so I think the base is very good for her to become a really good skater, or a more complete skater. What was the most unexpected surprises you got at this year's World Junior Championship? I think definitely Yuma not winning the men's competition. I was pretty sure that he was going to, and I was surprised by the mistakes he made in the free. I think they were mistakes out of tiredness. I think he's had such a long season, competed seniors and juniors, and definitely that must have affected him. So I would say Yuma not winning would be my surprise. Do you think Hanyu will retire after this season? I don't think so. I think he will compete next season, see how things pan out, and then if he sees he has a chance, he'll stretch. He'll do home stretch to Beijing, and if he sees he doesn't really have a chance or he doesn't feel like he has a chance, he'll retire next year before Beijing. Let's see. Oops. Oh God. What did I do? Okay. What do you think of Evgenia's new music? Ooh, I am so overjoyed with this choice. Like I've said before, I really dislike her choice for the free skate. it's just not my thing, musically speaking. I don't know what cuts they're gonna use, so maybe like they'll surprise me. But the main song Allegria, I find it so annoying. So I was really annoyed that she chose that. But I am in love with this choice. Masquerade Waltz is one of my all-time favorites. I remember when Belsazar Trankov skated to it, and Sochi was magical. Mao skated to it. It's just like it's not like a war horse. It's like a semi war horse, and it's one of the good ones. And I think she can do Russian dramatic, like classic. It's gonna be great. Jeff what? Jeffrey Battle is going to choreograph it. I'm very excited about that. So yeah, for sure, really good choice. As disappointed as I was in Allegria for the free, I'm overjoyed about this short for sure. Um, let's see. You're a teacher. What do you teach? I teach English. Um, mm, mm, mm. What do you think about Valieva's kicks? Like I said, there's just too many of them. Like she's good. Obviously, she has really good extensions, and they could like show that with say one like kick and one good spiral instead of like her whole choreo is just like her doing this. Like look at how beautiful my socks are, but like repeatedly doing this for like 4 minutes, like out of every element, into every element. It's just way too much, and it just becomes like distracting to me. I don't really get it. Mm-mm-mm. The technical side of junior ladies, I suppose, is great. Somehow none of them enchant me. I think the only one who so far truly like impressed me was Hein Lee, but obviously, they're really young, so that could easily change. Hi from Siberia. Oh God, hi. Um, let's see. Hi from Georgia. Hello. I definitely responded a lot more to Daria than Camila. I think Daria is probably more of a complete package so far, but I also think they packaged her better than they did Camila. I've noticed, okay, one thing, like all three girls, junior like Russian girls did, like they all look very sad all the time when they perform, and I wish that they gave them more variety. It's like a lot of sad faces. So um Daria on the surface kind of reminds me of Evgenia at her age. There are some similarities, probably. I think Evgenia was more expressive at that age. Um, but yeah, I think there's definitely some similarities there. They have the same hairstyle, so um, let's see. Camila seems very fast and Elisa very slow. I think Elisa was slower than normal, but definitely she needs like to continue working on her skating skills. They're not that great yet. I know they've been working on them, and she did look much improved this season, especially at nationals. I think this time, especially in the short program, she looked very nervous, and she said she felt herself being really slow. So I think that definitely affected her. And I mean, it's quite understandable. She's 13, so that makes sense. Same for everyone else in that field, pretty much. Which rack 2 program do you like better? Green Kolesnik's rack or Chalk and Bates? I don't really remember Chalk and Bates. Like I remember they did it, but I would have to rewatch it because at the moment, like kind of blank. Camila is very talented, but I can't stand her choreography. It is strange and fast. It is strange and fast, especially because of the music that's really slow and like meditative. Can you say that? Well, anyways, so yeah, it's just a mismatch with the music. If they want to do like a lot of high kicks, like give her, I don't know, a spy music or something. Karate Kid. Panic doesn't help either. You need to be alert, not scared. I think this is about Corona, not skating. I obviously agree, like people shouldn't go around in a panic, but it's good for people to have like healthy fear because that makes you be more aware and not spreading germs around. Have you watched Camila's new exhibition program? It's better than a short and free. She's actually capable of so much more. I haven't seen it yet. I will. Thanks for the suggestion. I definitely do think she's capable of so much more than what her choreography allows her to do. I actually think that I remember seeing her Girl on the Ball program from last year, because it's a repeat from like her from last season. And she looked so much more expressive because the choreo was different. It wasn't like this leg kicky yet. And it definitely worked a lot better. So definitely, um, I agree. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. Yeah, people shouldn't be complacent about the virus. Totally agree. I saw somewhere that it was choreographed by Terry. Is this Camila's exhibition? I know Terry does some choreographing, and she used to choreograph more actually. And I think she still does for some of them, like younger girls. So it could be. Kurkova's components were disappointing as always. I mean, the components at Junior Ladies Worlds were in general just very, very, very much based on reputation and federation. I think Kurakova was underscored. I think it's Italy's Alessia Tornaghi was underscored as well. And definitely some skaters were overscored. So for sure. Will they give Nathan 230 points for his free skate? Who knows? I definitely think that he's going into Worlds as a clear favorite. Both because of his consistency and because of judging. So, who's a better choreographer, Daniel G or Terry? I don't remember enough Terry choreo to be able to tell, but I don't think it's that difficult to beat Danny G choreo. I hope senior Japanese don't feel so pressure because they're Russia's only opponents. Fair judging could help, but I don't know. I don't know if it's that. I think truly that it's just a matter of like brutal mismanagement with the Japanese ladies. For example, they do a lot of regional competitions, university competitions. Very few of them train abroad with foreign coaches, and I think that could help maximize their strengths. I know like they do some camps every now and then. Rika often goes to Colorado, for example. Obviously now Sotoko is like in Canada, so they are slowly branching out. But yeah, there's something in how they're managed that really doesn't help them achieve consistency and judging favor. JSF definitely doesn't politic well for them, but it's also a matter of like not maximizing what they have, I think. Um, let's see. Do you think Korea is taking Japan's position right behind Russia in ladies skating? I think it's a work in progress. I think in the next couple of seasons, it could be, if Japan doesn't like get it together, it definitely could be the case because Korea has so many strong junior ladies, and so far Japan doesn't really have that strong ladies field. They're all super inconsistent, although very, very talented. Um, let's see. The athletes have no contact to the audience, so no danger for them. I mean, like I said, if they held it without audience, I think it would be okay because they can check athletes, they can keep them in isolated environments. The problem is not, just the athletes getting sick. Obviously, that's one of the issues, but the audience like need to be protected too, and so do volunteers, and that's not really happening right now. They should have sent Yuma to Worlds. Well, I think if they had sent him to Senior Worlds, they definitely should have kept him from Junior Worlds because he was already exhausted here. They went for KG. I think they assumed that because they have User and Shoma, they'll keep 3 spots. Which, to be fair, I think that will be the case. So. Do you think canceling or postponing World Championship might hurt even more the 3As in the long run? It's very hard to tell who it may affect more. I do think that obviously the younger athletes who are growing like them are they may be more affected, but older athletes may be affected too because it's harder for them to keep form for so long. If they postpone them, if they cancel, yeah, it would definitely affect all the main medal contenders. Hume is a choker. I don't think. I mean, he's so young. Can we really say he's a choker when he's like 15? I think it's way too early to call somebody a choker. Also, he did super well at both nationals and for continents. So I would say it's kind of too early to say that. Ciao, un abbraccio dall'Emilia Romagna. Ciao, mi raccomando, siamo in casa e siamo responsabili e coraggiosi. Do you think Alina will return next season? Personally, no. I think what may happen, and this is wild prediction time, I think what may happen is that they will announce programs for her. And she may do something like Japan Open or similar, and either do just the Grand Prix and then not do the rest, or just maybe appear for nationals. I think she's gonna do like an Adelina where they announce programs, she makes like one appearance, and then that's kind of it. But I hope I'm wrong, obviously. Thoughts on Sotnikova? Oh, there we go. Thoughts on Sotnikova's official retirement? I mean, did we need an official retirement announcement from Sotnikova? Because I don't think we did. I mean, obviously she was retired. She'd been retired for years. So the judges gave Camila the GOE and the components for the character kicks. So why change? That's exactly it. I love Camila, but I wish her choreo was more musical. Me too. Do you think Evgenia will be able to pull a quad next season? Personally, no. I was on the fence about this, but her latest interviews and Brian's latest interviews made me think that they've kind of abandoned the idea. I think that they may be like kind of training it, but not that seriously, probably because they realized it's not truly an option. I don't know. That's just the impression I got from reading like their latest interviews. They focused a lot more on other things like making her a complete package and making sure that she has good programs and consistency, and that she, becomes like some sort of like Carolina figure in the sport. With that said, I do think that they'll definitely at least give it a try for one more season before giving up, unless it proves to be too much for her body. Do you think Trusova has lost her touch? Do you think Kosternaya is going to win Worlds? As for Trusova, it's difficult to say. I think the thing is, she started the season with a bang, and then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse, and the number of quads got less and less and less. So I do think that it's both mental and physical. I think she's growing. I think it's getting harder to land quads, and I think that's making her doubt herself. And so even when she could land them, she's starting to not land them as consistently because, competition with the other two, a lot of thoughts in her mind. And I definitely think both things are creeping in, and they're making her way less invincible that she seemed to be. As for Kosternaya, I'm not really sure. I don't think she looked that great at when they did that show with like all the Atari kids. I think she looked a little, and I think she looked a bit injured with her back, and I think she looked, I don't know, not that sure with their jumps. So it's hard to tell, because normally Alina used to look like that last season. At some points she looked very injured, and then she managed somehow to pull it together in competition. So it's very hard to tell for me. I think if she goes clean, she's probably gonna win. either her or Sherpakova, I would say. But it's hard to tell. Also depends on panel a lot. So do your students know about your channel? No, and they don't need to know. I don't need them to screenshot me um, in my pajamas. Which skaters you cannot wait to see with new routines or can benefit the most with new content? Like I said before, I'm very excited about Evgenia's new short program. If Yuzu continues, and I really hope he will, and I kind of think he will, I'm also very excited to see if he does new programs. I'd be really, really, really happy if he did 2 new programs. So definitely these two. I want Sui Han to have new programs as well. Um, and who else I'm excited about? I'm definitely excited about to see how Satoko will do next season, because this season was clearly like a transitional phase for her. Same with Kaori. I'm always excited about the two of them. I think Rika would really benefit from 2 programs that are more components friendly as well, and I would like to see her with different programs. So yeah, some of these. Um, what musics would you give Valieva next year if you had to say? You know what? I don't think the problem was the music. I think the music was fine. I think the oh my god, I can't speak anymore. The choreography did not match the music. Like that was my main issue. It wasn't the music choice, it was the choreography. The music was fine. I think she's fine doing like classic contemporary music, but give her good choreo to go with it, you know? How do you feel about Guyan Kolesnik winning over the Georgians and the Russians? I've only like barely seen the junior dance competition. I like Guyan Kolesnik. I can, oh god. And I like the Georgians a lot, and I like Shanaeva, and I don't remember her partner's name as well. Very hard to say for me because like I said, I watched it like in passing. I thought all 3 couples were really, really good. I maybe would give the edge to Georgian couple actually, Kazakova and Revia. But um, what's your opinion about why Terry and Daniel never collaborate with any other choreographer? I think they like to keep everything like together as like one big like machine, and I think they're not being punished for having horrible choreography, and so it's kind of convenient for them. Back in the day when they still were like on the rise, they had to give Lipnitskaya and Medvedeva they gave him like Arabu choreography. I think Medvedev also had choreography from someone else at some point. But now they feel like they don't need to anymore, and obviously they're being paid for it, like repaid for it. So I would actually cry if they cancel Worlds. It's my first competition that I'm attending, and I can't go if they move it. It is like I can't even imagine how horrible it would be for people who have tickets if they canceled it, if they held it without audience or anything like that. It's obviously like if it would me, I'd be devastated, I'd be crushed. So I totally feel you. At the same time, I don't think it's a great idea to have Worlds with the audience now. Um, how do you feel about Trusova trying to change her short? Personally, I feel like changing her short would do more harm than good. I mean, to be fair, I rewatched it. It's kind of like very similar choreo to like everything else that she does with a different music. I think it's completely a matter of image, of like trying to give the judges an image of somebody who deserves higher components, because obviously in their mind they have this very classic image of like a balletic princess for all ladies. They're trying to make her fit that to give her higher components, while they should maybe work on her components for her to get higher components. Just a thought. At the end of the day, it's not going to matter because she's just going to get random components. As always, like her components at Euros were outrageously ridiculous. So does it even matter? Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. What do you think of Maria Bell and Brady's chances of getting 3 spots for the US? It depends a lot on Japan and Korea. I think it's not completely impossible. I think Russia is definitely going to get 3 spots, and then it's going to be between Korea, Japan, and the US. And it's definitely a possibility, especially if they both hit consistently. Why do the Japanese audience love the Russian skaters more than their own? I mean, I don't know if that's true. I obviously don't live in Japan. So I think it could just be a perception of people like being outside of Japan. Um, I think they care a lot about their skaters, but I think they care a lot about all skaters as well. So it's hard to tell if they like prefer one category over the other. Hi, Sam. My friend Sam, always leaving stupid comments. What up, EA? What up, Sam? Um, Please be safe. Here in Rome, everyone's scared for the virus. Hi, Lavi, and if you can, please stay home. I know in Rome you don't have like strict quarantine yet, but if you can, guys, like don't like truly don't leave the house unless it's strictly necessary. Any thoughts on Brian Orser's interview and his thoughts on change in user programs, plus Grand Prix Final Coach situation and incident? All the best. As for the change of programs, I really liked what Brian said, that it was also a matter of like the music and the technical side not really clicking, and that's something that user needs. A lot of skaters skate over their music as if there was no music at all. They just skate over it, and like whatever the music is, they're not going to change anything. So I truly admire Yuzu for caring so much and for needing it to be so perfect, and for the music and the technical side to like support each other. So I thought that was really beautiful and understandable. I hope that if he gets new programs next season, that he's going to be able to build programs that have this, because clearly he thought that Origin and Otoniel didn't do this. As for the coaching incident, I think it was an incident pretty much. It seems to me like it was a problem of miscommunication. Probably, like I would say from all sides, it seems like the user side didn't communicate like with enough like they didn't say until like last minute, but it also seems like Ghislaine may have known and didn't tell Brian. It seems like Brian may have like maybe asked earlier. I don't know. I feel like it seems like a big miscommunication issue, but it seems also like they've resolved it. Brian and Yuzu seem in really like good, normal relationship at both nationals and for continents. And so yeah, I feel like whatever it was, it must have been some sort of mishap, and they seem to have like ironed it out in private. I think people attacking Brian are crazy, but I also think people attacking Yuzu are crazy. Like, clearly they've like resolved this somehow. So yeah, I think Brian brought it up. I mean, he wasn't asked, he brought it up, and I don't think it was like the smartest move ever going into Worlds. But at the same time, I think that he was so shocked by the amount of death threats and terrible things that went his way, that when the conversation steered on that, he felt the need to like specify that it was all like a mishap, and like and that people felt the need to like threaten his life for that. So I mean, yeah, I see why. Thoughts on the Canadian ladies? 3 years ago, they had Gabby and Caitlin bringing it up. Now they're even struggling to get someone with minimum TS. I mean, whatever has happened, like, I feel like the program clearly isn't doing what it should. They seem to be so behind compared to like most junior ladies. Feels like everyone upped their game technically, and Canada is still teaching the old way, where like you only need kind of like one triple or two in juniors. Clearly, the situation has completely changed now, and obviously with Caitlin's retirement and Gabby's like on a break, that made like their whole ladies field kind of like collapse. So I think they should completely change how they approach it. I'm not saying go the Russian way where you have like quads at 9 years old, but like at least triples when you're in juniors. Yeah. Um, I totally agree that health is a priority, but I can't imagine not feeling from the audience enthusiasm or energy. Yeah, it's very it's very difficult. It would be very difficult and it would be very strange. I was, yesterday there was a big football match in Italy. It was Juventus versus Inter, and they had it without the audience, and it did feel really, really weird. So for a sport like figure skating, I can imagine like that would be pretty much the same, even if they're so different. Like they both feed so much from the audience, but sometimes it's necessary for, the common good. Um, do you think Elisa will have a longer career than the Atari skaters? Because it seems that she's being allowed to progress at a slower pace. I tend to think so, but I think there's a lot we don't know about it because, like, we know a lot about how the Atari skaters, like, what they go through. I think with Elisa, it's a bit more of a question mark. It seems to me like she's being allowed to develop like at a slower pace. I would completely cut back on the quad thing and just let her focus on the having a solid triple axel and developing her skating skills. If they can do that, I think then yes, then she may have like a chance at a longer career. And I think they're aiming for like that maybe. What is a choker? A choker is somebody. So choker would be like, like that necklace or somebody who strangles you. It's a choker. But in figure skating terms or in sports term, really, a choker is somebody who, when their big chance arrive, they choke and they fail. That's a choker. And that's my English lesson for you since I'm not at school anymore. Um, yeah, thoughts on the beginning of Pro. I've said about switching to battle for this short. I'm excited to see it. I am a bit surprised that they didn't stick with Averbooks, considering he did a really good job last season. But I guess she wanted to try Jeff, and to be fair, I am mad. So, I think Trissa was struggling because she's having a growth spurt. I think she's definitely growing, but I think it's a mix of things. Definitely having like 5,000 quads when she was like 12, like probably didn't help. Um, can help us feel Camila or one of the current juniors will pull off an Alina in a couple of years and win everything, including the Olympics. I mean, it could happen for sure. I think they need to be really careful about pushing these juniors because they still have 2 years to go and they already look like they're exhausted. So maybe pace them a bit better. Do you think another 2002 scandal will happen and the system will break once again? I think maybe at some point it's getting to be more and more and more outrageous. So it could be at some point. I don't know. But they also seem like they care less and less and less. So I don't know. Rumor has it Kostrana has injured herself practicing quad salchow. I've read about this. I don't know if it's if it's a obviously yeah, it's just a rumor, but it wouldn't surprise me. Do you think that if Trusova flops at Worlds, she will be the one put aside? I think she's already kind of the one put aside, if I have to be completely honest. But yeah, it will depend a lot on Worlds. I'm very scared for Eliana. She does look like injured, like you said. I had the same thought. I don't know if they can kind of like if Genia was injured at the Olympics, Elena was injured last season pretty much, and they still managed to like put them together somehow like with tape. I don't know. So I don't know. I just hope she's gonna be fine. Do you think the Atari trio will participate in the Olympics 2022? Not all three of them. Maybe one. Maximum two, I'd say one. What do you think of the junior American ice dancers in general? I have only truly seen the couple who won, and yeah, I think they're really good. But that's pretty much all I know about them. Who is more likely out of the three A's to make it to the Olympics? Honestly, I have absolutely no idea. What do you think? Why does what? Rika doesn't add some more in and outs with jumps. I don't think, because yeah, what you're saying about the judges like giving us Kusternaya an edge because of transitions is like honestly partly false. Because remember when they said the same about Kamishiva's triple axel, and then she added the same exact transitions that Kusternaya has, pretty much, and they still didn't give her the GOE. With Rika, like the only jump that she doesn't really have like big transitions going in, I would say is probably triple axel, maybe the lats, I can't remember. But I think she has like quite good transition going out of jumps and going in some of them. Um, I don't think that's an issue, honestly. I think she could add all the transitions in the world, but they still give more GOE to the Atari girls. Oh yeah, componenti del programma delle sei tornaghi da mandare in galera? Sì, veramente. Yeah, somebody from Italy saying that Alessia's program components were outrageous, and I completely agree. That she's been robbed blind. She should have been at least like 5 or 6 points higher with components, like summing up between short and free. Um, just joined. Do you think the World Championship will be cancelled? I don't think it will be, but I think it should be, or at least like held without the audience. Are you in self isolation? Pretty much. I am in a semi quarantine state in the sense that where I live, like I'm allowed to leave the house, but it's very, very, very important to only leave the house if it's necessary. And because I'm a law abiding citizen, I am staying home. Oh, no, I haven't actually answered to this yet. What did you make of Stephen Gogolev Junior World Championship? Very unfortunate. I thought it was weird how bad he was doing. Not to be rude, but like it was pretty harsh. But I've read that actually his skates were damaged, and guess who made the skates? It was Edia, or I don't know how do you say that name. Edia. I don't know. It was them. And like truly they've been sabotaging so many skaters this season that I would be like cautious if I was a skater at this point. Cause like I think Steven obviously like he's not at his peak. He's had like a massive growth spurt. He grew so much. But those boots, like something's wrong with those boots. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, I have like a bunch of Italians complaining about Alessia's components in the comments. I pretty much agree with all of you. If you're gonna give Valieva like 8s, then Alessia's at least a 7 for sure. Mm-mm-mm. I agree with Fiona. Rika does have a lot of transitions in her program. It's just transitions and also quads and triple axles. They only count for certain people, if you know what I mean. So, sorry about the chewing, by the way. Thoughts on Gracie Gold, and do you think she will be able to do her comeback? I think yes and no. I do think that she's getting better. I don't think she's ever going to get back to the shape she was in before, like to the competitive, like top shape as before, because she had such a long break. But you never know. I wish her all the best. I think she's very brave. Do you think Lisa could still have a shot? What about Kaori? Lisa, probably not. Kaori, probably yes. Your thoughts about Kuliada's return? I'm very happy to finally see someone with great skating skills returning. May he take out the Samarins and the Makars of the world with their choppy skating skills. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I wish him all the best. I'd be delighted if he came back in good shape. I think he was skating an X like today, maybe. So we'll know soon what kind of shape he's in, I guess. Have you ever been to the US? I actually have not. Um, but I'm planning to in the summer of 2021. My plan would be to do a road trip coast to coast if I have enough money and if I find somebody who wants to come with me. Sergei Shakrai, oh, I don't know how to say that. I'm very sorry. Said in an interview that Camila has broken her legs 2 times already. Great. That's scary AF. And it's terrifying that she's broken her leg twice. She's 13. Maybe I should like kind of like pace her a bit better. Maya also talked about several injuries. Yeah, I mean, great. I see like such a long career, bright career here. Let's see. Um, I think Elisa's going to lose her big jumps when she starts growing. Her jumps now have little height. I think it really depends on what they focus on now. Like now is the time that if they want to save her triple axel, it should be now. I don't think her quad lutz is even a thing. Like it's never been there truly. So I'm not really worried about that because it's not even a thing. I think she may have some chances at retaining her triple axel, but they have to play their cards very well. And yes, the her jumps do look very small. So I'm afraid Sherbakova won't even make it to the end of next season. Fingers crossed for Sherbakova, my favorite of the trio. I hope she'll be fine. Like I always say, I don't really want to comment on like health situations of people unless it's something known. I do think that her whole like constitution, shall we say, is a bit worrying for her age in particular. But why do you think judges give the Atari girls higher GOE? I'm not sure. Like, I think it's a bunch of things. Usually, if you're considered the leader, you get better scoring than the norm. So a little bit of like some of that is reputation. Her skaters are consistent. They do difficult elements. They succeed. So they get good scores, and then they start to succeed because they get those scores, and it's just like a cycle. Also, Russian Federation is pretty much gambling along that, and I'm sure they have some influence on that. I only use Jackson skates. I always had some doubts about Edia, yeah, or Edia, or whatever. How do you say that in English? Because I think isn't it Italian, Edia? I'm not really sure. Do you have a dog? No, I don't have a dog. I have a cat, but it lives with my parents. I go visit it like every couple of weeks. His name's Flynn, but no dogs. What's your opinion about Johanna Yokoi? She was very good at Challenge Cup. Oh yeah, I loved her Challenge Cup programs. She's really good. I hope like she doesn't get lost in the sea of mismanagement that the Japanese Federation seems to be doing. She could have a very good season next year. Ba, 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 ba. Honestly, I'm a little happy Lisa didn't have a Grand Slam this year. She seems to take criticism well and fix her problems. Yeah, I think her attitude is great. Like she truly does seem to want to improve and get better, and she seems to be fully aware of her issues. And I think that that's great, especially to be that aware at that age is incredible. Thoughts on the Italian commentators' reaction in Sochi 2014 and Sanikova won gold instead of Unikim? I mean, I agree with them. Let's just say that. Road trips are the best. I hope you hit the national parks. Oh, yeah, I would love that. I mean, yeah, hopefully 2021 will be kinder to us and I'll travel more. I really enjoy Hein Lee's step sequence at the end of her free skate. Me too. It's great. And she's starting to sell it really well. Mm-hmm. Do you think we're going to have a new, very strong skater next year coming into senior? I can't remember who's going senior. I think Sinitsina maybe going senior. Who's turning senior next season? The only one I can think of that's like really strong would be Sinitsina. I'm sure there's like more. Tomoe like will definitely be senior at this point. but I don't think it's gonna be as like this year. Yeah, I can't remember if there's like a huge someone who's coming up to seniors. I guess not. hmm How do you think Russian skaters compare to 13-year-old Romanian gymnasts training skills? Let's see, Simone Biles compete. I don't know about this. Um, I'm assuming this is very scary because Simone Biles does very unique stuff that pretty much only she can pull off. So if 13-year-olds are doing it, it better be like in a safe way, which I doubt can be done. So I don't feel that great about it. Shubakova is my favorite as well. She's the most musical girl indeed. Unfortunately, she's with Harry. Pretty much my thought. Um, Maybe having Kolyada, Aliyev, and Daniel Yan will help Russian men not to feel less pressure and maybe spark competitiveness among them. Yeah, I think Kolyada, Aliyev, Daniel Yan would be a great trio to have for sure. I'm afraid they're putting too much pressure on Elisa. She's starting to feel just by the kiss and cry reaction. I think, yeah, for sure. And unfortunately, I think the US media may make it worse. Mm-mm. Anna's short program now looks better than Aliona's, in my opinion. Completely agree. I talked about it in my last live, I think, and I definitely feel the same. Mm-mm-mm. I don't agree with its skating skills wise though. Like I do think it's looking better as a program as a whole, but Anna's skating skills are not very good, and Aliona's skating skills, despite getting worse, in my opinion, they're still much better than Anna's. Oh yeah, Hein will turn senior. Of course, I talked about it before. Yeah, I don't think she may dominate though. I think she could do very well. But sorry, I think my mom's like texting me. What's going on? Oh yeah, I didn't tell her I got home. She was worried. Anyways, so young maybe. How old is she? Isn't she too young for it? I thought she was 14. Was I wrong? Thoughts on Samadura about this season? I don't think we're gonna see her like at a high level again. Are you Jewish? No, I'm not, but I get this all the time. Like, seriously, I get this question like from people who don't know me so often. I don't know what it is about me that gives off like I'm Jewish vibes. Either way, obviously, I don't take it as like anything negative or positive. It's just funny that I get this all the time. I think it must be like a combination of features like hair, nose, I don't know. Obviously, I mean, Jewish people like look all sorts of way as well, so it's hard to tell. But I've gotten this so many times, so I guess I'm not Jewish, but I definitely seem to look Jewish. I don't know. Senior may turn senior. Yeah, I thought so. She could be strong. Paris podium for Worlds. I've read the Boykova Kozlovsky weren't like at their peak today. They did like a show with Kamisheva, but again, it's a show, so it's hard to judge. Gold between them and Suihan, and then bronze between Trasvel Morozov, maybe Penjin, the other Russian pair. I don't remember their Pavlyuchenko Khodikin, are they? Yeah, probably that. What do you think about Russian pairs on Junior World Championship? Pamphilov and Rilov, like they own my life. They're so good. I absolutely love them. They're stunning. Every time they jump that side by side double salk, I'm like crying on the inside though. Like they need to get a triple, and it looks so far away right now. Mm-mm-mm. Most overscored skater in the junior worlds, maybe Daria. Young Yu will be very strong next season. Yeah, I could see that. She's gaining momentum. She may be more solid. So yeah, I could definitely see that. Do you think this is the last season we'll see Satoko compete? I don't think so, but I think they definitely need, to fix the under rotation issue ASAP. Now that she's not under Mia Hamada's influence anymore, she's getting called a lot more. So if that doesn't get fixed, then she's gonna have a lot of issues. You look completely Italian. Well, I am completely Italian, so that makes sense. Mhm. Does anyone know why Daniel Samsonov did not compete at Junior Worlds? Yeah, see, so they said he is having growing pains. I've read from Russian forums that he's actually pretty injured, but I don't know. I read on FSO, the Russian forum FSO. People thought he may be injured because they withdrew him. Mm, and normally, Eteri doesn't just withdraw her skaters if they're having growing pains. It's usually because of something worse. I mean, there's no proof. It was just a speculation based on the fact that Eteri doesn't usually withdraw skaters, but the official reason is growing pains. And hopefully it is just that and nothing worse. When I first saw you, it was like, oh my God, you're Alice. Oh, hi, Alice. Will the Russians, Sinitsyn and Katsalapov, win ice dance at Worlds? Potentially. It's going to be very interesting. Do you think Satoko would be better in dance? Hard to tell. It's hard to switch this slate as well. So, who do you want Alexa Knierim to partner with? I have no idea, honestly. I've read that her husband and partner decided to retire, but yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know who's available, so it's hard for me to say. And I think on that note, I may leave. I love the way you sound in Italian. Thanks. Boyfriend's from Naples. He sounds very monotonous. Poor boyfriend. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it like this because it's time for me to have dinner. I'm trying to like keep a regular schedule even if I'm never leaving the house, just because to make my routine. Sam's like, no. Yes, Sam, I'm leaving. I am leaving. I'm interrupting this. Thank you for the well wishes. I also do hope that the situation in Italy is gonna get better. I will keep you guys posted. We will see what happens with Senior Worlds. Whatever happens, I hope it's like what's best for the public good and like the common good, and I hope that this virus situation is gonna get better for all of us. Please, everybody, wherever you live, stay safe. Try to stay inside as much as possible. Try to not go to like places with big crowds. Wash your hands a lot. Don't sneeze if not on your elbow, and take all the precautions you need. Be careful around the elders that you know or that you don't know, and yeah, hopefully the situation is going to get better soon for all of us. Bye.